Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Or if you're like me and you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Chaotic Curl, and in this week's video, we're going to be making a teddy bear cardigan, or a more accurate description would be a brown cardigan with a hood and bear ears. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to follow me over on TikTok and Instagram at chaoticcurl_crafts, where you'll be able to see reels and TikToks of this current project as well as previous projects that I've made. Now, for this week's project, as I said, we're going to be making a brown cardigan with a hood and bear ears. So the yarn that I'm actually going to be using is going to be this Crafter's Secret Big Idea in the color brown. So that's going to be pretty easy to find. Just any brown yarn that you'd like to use would definitely work for this project. But this yarn specifically, I got it at the Hobby Lobby, and it actually does call for a 5.5mm hook. So that's going to be this hook right here. Now for this project, you are going to want to have a basic understanding of how to crochet. So you will want to know how to make chains and double crochet, although I am going to be using a special variation of the double crochet stitch. It's going to be the linked double crochet, which of course I will show you guys how to make that stitch. But you do want to have that basic idea or basic knowledge of just how to get started. So if you do need that information, I would suggest just to search crochet for beginners on YouTube, and you should have no problem with finding multiple tutorials on how to get started. This is a pretty beginner friendly project, even with the variation on the double crochet stitch, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get to work on. But you are also going to want to know how to make a circle or how to crochet in a circle, which of course I'll be showing you guys how to do that as well. But like I said, you do want to have that basic general knowledge on just how to do that. So now that you have this information and you know what items we're going to be using, so far I do have half of the cardigan done. So I have one sleeve, one front panel, the back panel, one ear, and we're going to be adding pockets. So I have one pocket done, but I am going to be completing the rest during this video with you guys, just so that you guys can see how everything works out. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, we're going to get started on the ribbing for the front panel. So here I have my slip stitch, and I'm actually going to make a chain of 12. We're going to be doing single crochet ribbing. Okay, now we're going to skip this first chain from our hook. I'm going to flip it over so I can go into the back loops of the chains, which as you can see, we're skipping this first one to go into this one, and we're going to make a single crochet. I'm just going to single crochet all the way across the row. Okay, and I'm just going to keep single crocheting all the way across the row, and I'll come back and show you guys once it's done. Okay, I'm ready to get started on row 2. So this is what my first row of single crochets looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and chain 1, turn my project, and now we're going to be working into the back loops to get that ribbing effect. So I'm going to skip that first chain that I just made, and we're going to go right into the back loop. So as you see, there's one loop here in the front, one in the back. I'm just going to go right into that back loop right there, and we're going to make a single crochet. And I'm actually going to go all the way across the row, working my single crochets into the back loops only. Okay, we chain 1 at the end, turn our project, and then again for row 3, we're just going to be working into the back loop again. So we're just going to go again. You see the 2 loops, this one in the front, that one in the back. We're going to get under the one in the back and work our single crochets. And we're just going to continue this way until I reach the length that I need, which according to my notes is going to be for 43 rows. So I'm just going to continue this and I'll show you guys what it looks like once the ribbing panel is done. This is what the completed ribbing is looking like. This is going to be a single crochet rib with single crochet in the back loop only. And this is what it looks like. I did make sure to finish off with a chain 1, since now I am going to go ahead and add single crochet all the way along the top row, so that way we can get started with our primary stitch for this pattern. But that is what's going to be happening now, and I just wanted to come back and show you guys what the ribbing looked like. This is how I add those single crochets at the top. I just came back to show you guys I am halfway through, so that's what it looks like with the single crochet, and this is what it looks like without. But I'm going to show you guys how I'm going about adding these single crochets. So as you can see, we have both rows, so that's one row of single crochet and that's another row. What we're going to do is actually go around a single crochet, and then we're going to go through a hole, which I'm going to show you guys right now that you can see from the previous row. So there you see that little hole, we're going to go into that hole. So that's what we're going to continue doing all the way across. We go around the single crochet, and then we're going to go through the hole from the single crochet. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way across until I make it to the end of the row. And that is going to help us have a smooth place to add our linked double crochet stitch, as well as just clean it up a little bit, make it look really nice in my opinion. So I'm just going to do this all the way across the row until I finish it, and then we'll be ready to add that linked double crochet stitch. And this is what the ribbing should look like after all of these single crochets have been completed at the top. Okay, I've completed all of my single crochets, so now I'm actually ready to get started on the stitch that we're using for this project. And the stitch that we're going to be using is actually going to be the linked double crochet stitch. So there's two ways to start it. Now, the way that I use is with the turning stitch, the stacked single crochet turning stitch. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it with the chains. So if you're going to do it with chains, what you would do is start making your first chain. You're going to make 2 more, like how you would with a normal double crochet. And then you're actually going to go into, I'm sorry about that. You're actually going to go into this middle chain. You're going to go into the chain, yarn over, pull up that loop, and then you're going to go into the stitch right next to it. Into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now you have the 3 loops that you would need for the double crochet. So you're just going to work it like normal, go through 2 loops, and then yarn over and go through 2. And that's actually going to be the start of the row. So now for the next one, as you can see, instead of doing the yarn over like you normally would for a double crochet, as you can see here, you have that little leg right here. Right there from the double crochet. So you're going to go into that little leg, yarn over, pull up your loop, and that's going to act as your yarn over. So then you just go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, and again you have your 3 stitches where you're just going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, like you would for a normal double crochet. But there you have the linked double crochet starting with a chain. Now the way that I like to do it, you can still use that starting stitch, but what we're going to do here, I undid all the chains. So I'm sorry about the camera. I undid all the chains, so now I'm ready to get started. So I'm going to go right into that first stitch of the row, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over and go through 2 for my first single crochet. We're going to go into the back leg of that single crochet, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's going to be the second single crochet, and this is actually going to act as our first double crochet. So now to do the linked double crochet with this one, we're going to go back into that same back leg that we built the second single crochet on, yarn over, pull up our loop, and that's going to be our yarn over for the double crochet, and then just go right into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now we're back to where we need to be with the 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 2, and that's how I'm going to be starting my linked double crochet. So now for the next stitch, again, I'm going to try and get a better view. As you can see, you have this little loop here, There, you're just going to go through that, yarn over, pull up your loop. That counts as your yarn over that you would normally do for a double crochet. Then we're going to go into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up that loop. We have our 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And there is the linked double crochet. And it actually gives for a much more solid fabric than just a regular double crochet would, because you don't have that space in between like you would with a normal double crochet. So I'm just doing it again where I went through the little loop here, which you can see it a little bit better now. And then I yarned over and pulled up that loop, which would count as my yarn over. Now we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm actually going to do 2 double crochets now. So I'm going to yarn over just to show you guys the difference between the linked double crochet and a regular double crochet. So let me just finish. Let me do one more double crochet just in case. Okay, but as you can see there, you see the 3 double crochets that I just did normally, they have those spaces in between, and then the linked double crochets have no spaces in between. So it gives for a much more solid fabric, which is perfect for the winter, as well as in the summer if you want to have a crochet project that you don't want to have any lining underneath, or a little bit more privacy, a little bit more modesty in your projects. You could definitely use this stitch. So that way you don't have to worry about anyone seeing anything that you don't want them to see like they would with a regular double crochet. And it works up just as quickly as a double crochet. You don't need any specific number of stitches or chains. In order to do this, you would just chain however many you need for your project and then go ahead and link the double crochets. So I'm going to continue from here, and I'll check back in with you guys once I have my rows built up and I'm ready to reduce, so I can show you guys how to decrease in this stitch as well. Okay, so I just put a stitch marker to hold the place for my hook, but this is what the panel is looking like so far. And I also made sure to put a safety pin just to mark which side this is going to be and which side is the front. So this is going to be the right side panel. I already did the left side. So as you can see here, I also made sure to add holes for the buttons. And all I did here was basically, as you can see, I did the first stitch, my turning stitch, 1 double crochet and then a chain 1, skip the stitch from the previous row, and then I just continued with the pattern as normal. But this is what it's looking like. And in case you need some help with keeping track of the rows, I'm just going to show you guys right here. As you can see in this row, there's like multiple lines in the middle here. This is 1 row, and then the next row has no lines. So as you can see, it's kind of like at the top and at the bottom, where there's no lines, no line, line, no line. So that's how you'd be counting. This no line is 1, line is 2, no line, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. So here I have 19 rows, not including the first single crochet row. And now I'm actually ready to start with the decrease. So we're going to be decreasing for the next 22 rows. And I'm going to be decreasing one row and then not decreasing in the next. So we're going to be decreasing on the button side and not on the other side, just so that it creates that nice V that I want for the neckline. So this is what it's looking like, and of course I'm going to show you guys how to decrease now. The beauty of this stitch is that it's worked up like a regular double crochet, so we're going to be decreasing the same way you would a regular double crochet. So I'm just going to come in here and start off with my stacked single crochet. That's my first single crochet, and now we're going to do right into that back leg, go yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, so we have 2 single crochet. And then again in that same back leg that we were just in, we're gonna go through, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we're gonna come into the stitch, go through, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we're gonna go to the stitch right next to it, to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 3, and then pull through 2. And there's our decrease. That's our first decrease. So now we're just going to continue this way. I'm going to decrease one more time. So I'm going to go into this little loop here in the middle so that I can yarn over and pull my loop through there. Remember, that counts as the yarn over that you would normally do for a double crochet. And then we just go right into that next stitch, yarn over to pull up the loop, the one right next to it again, yarn over to pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And that's how I'm going to continue to decrease every time it's time to decrease. So from here on, I'm just going to keep doing my link double crochet as normal. So we're just going to, sorry about that. We're just going to keep going as normal all the way to the end of the row. And for the next row, we're not going to be doing any decreases. So once I finish that second row, I'll come back and show you guys what it's looking like for the third row. But I'm going to I'm going to finish this row, finish the second row, and start the third row so that I can show you guys what it looks like. But that is how I would decrease. And as you can see, it's practically invisible. You can't tell that I decreased here, but I did. So yeah, I'll come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like once the no decrease row has been completed. Okay, so I'm 11 rows into the decrease, and this is what the V is looking like, or that curve. As you can see, it's come in very sharply, but I'm just gonna keep going to the other 11, so that way I'm down to 22 stitches at the end. And yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's done. Okay, here is the completed panel from the ribbing, the buttonholes, up to the decreases for the V-neck. I made it up to where I only have 22 stitches, so I was able to cut it in half. So what I'm going to do now, since I'm done decreasing, I'm actually just going to add 3 more rows for the extension for the shoulder, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started on the ribbing for the sleeve. So that way I can show you guys how to increase with this stitch. But this is what the panel is looking like. I'll go ahead, add those 3 more rows, show you guys what it looks like, and then I'll get started on the sleeve. Okay, so here is the completed front panel. As I said, I added 3 extra rows for the shoulder. So this is 100% done. And I did the ribbing for the sleeve, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the sleeve now. Okay, so here is the sleeve so far. I managed to work up the cuff to the size that I need. So this is 26 rows. And I did the row of single crochet the same way I did it for the panel, and 1 row of linked double crochet. So now I'm ready to start increasing. So I already worked up my turning stitch that stacks single crochet, so we're going to change angles so I can show you guys how to increase in this stitch. Okay, now to increase for the stitch, it's going to be similar to how you would with a traditional double crochet. So we're just going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch. So I already have my stacked single crochet, which counts as a double crochet. I'm going to go right back into that back leg of it. So I can yarn over, pull up a loop, and then right into the same stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, so I have all 3 stitches on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and now we're going to do it again. So I'm going to go into the center bar of that double crochet we just made. I'll go right under it, yarn over, pull up a loop, I'm going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, so we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And for that second one, we do the same thing, go under the middle bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, go right back into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm just going to continue this way for the rest of the row, so that I have 2 double crochet in each stitch from the previous row, and this is going to cause that bubble effect for the sleeve that I like. Okay, and that's what it looks like so far. I'm just going to continue from here for the rest of the row, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like once it's done. Okay, and here is the sleeve with the 2 double crochets in each stitch completed. So this is what it looks like. I'm just going to continue crocheting from here, but I am going to make sure to add 2 stitches on each end every other row. So for this 3rd row, I'm not going to do any increases. I'm just going to do the linked double crochet stitch all the way across, and then for row number 4 on the edges, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 2 double crochets in the last stitch, and I'm going to continue up that way just until I reach the size that I want the sleeve to be, which I have it written down here as 16 inches across. So I'm going to continue that way until I get to 16 inches across, and then I'll just continue double crocheting from there without any increases. So I'll show you guys what it looks like once the increase section has been completed. So here is the sleeve after all the increases are done, and I do have a change. Instead of doing it every other row, I actually increased every row. For after the 2nd row, it would have been the next 8 rows. So I have 10 rows, where the first row, well, I have 10 rows here, but the first row was just the regular linked double crochet stitch. The 2nd row was 2 linked double crochet stitches in each stitch from the previous row, and for the 3rd up to the 10th row, I was just increasing by 2 on each end. So I would do 2 at the beginning and 2 at the end, and this is where the sleeve is now. So from here, I'm just going to continue building up the sleeve. No more increases, no decreases, and I did make sure to mark off the 10th row. So what I'm going to do is build up to 50 rows. So this is my first set of 10, and I'm going to continue there, and I'm going to keep using the safety pins to mark where I have 10 rows. So this is what it's looking like so far, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like once it's done. I'm basically going to be working it up the same way that I did the panel. So I'm going to be doing linked double crochets for the next, well, I would say 40 rows. until the sleeve is completed. So I'll show you guys what it looks like done. Okay, so here are all the finished pieces of the cardigan. I just have to sew everything together, and I do have to get more yarn so I can finish the right sleeve. But this is the completed left sleeve, which I have marked with a little L. The right sleeve with the little pink bead. The left panel with a little L. This one doesn't have any buttonholes because this is where the buttons are gonna go. The right panel with the pink bead. This one does have buttonholes, but you can't really tell. There it is. It does have the buttonholes. And then, of course, the completed back panel. So I'm actually going to end this video here, just showing you guys what the completed cardigan looks like. So for the next video, I'll actually show you guys the cardigan sewn together with the sleeve completed, and then we'll make the ears, the pockets, and of course the hood, and we can finish this cardigan off. But this is what it's looking like, and this is again that link to Double Crochet Stitch, which actually looks beautiful. It's giving like a very nice striped texture kind of look, which I absolutely adore. But this is what it's looking like. And I thank you guys so much for joining me in this week's video. Again, like I said, in the next video, in part 2, we'll be able to finish this cardigan, add the hood, the ears, and of course, before I get into any of the accessories, I'll show you guys what the cardigan looks like sewn together. But here it is. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to join me over on TikTok and Instagram, where you'll be able to see reels and TikToks of this project, as well as previous project and projects that I have upcoming as well. Thanks again for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!